Are you looking to sell your home this spring?
Whether it's now or later, it's time to get your house ready to show.
We recently talked with Amy Young, a professional home stager.
She'll give us some inexpensive tips on how to get your house ready to show and probably make you some more money.
Sounds good to me. Let's get started. You know, a topic a lot of people don't think about when they're selling their home is staging their home, making it look as good as it can before they sell it.
Right. And a lot of people don't know how to do that themselves. Now, some people think they know how to do that themselves, but I know for a fact they do not. So this is my friend Amy, and she does all my staging, and we've done this for 20 years together, at least. And she has gotten me out of so many pickles with some of my houses that I'm thinking, especially with like really good friends, you don't want to offend them, right? So I bring like good cop, bad cop, right?
You're the good cop.
I'm the good cop.
Amy's the bad cop.
Right?
Right.
She's okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
Right.
Yeah.
You're blunt and honest with people, right?
Yes. But the key to that is the kindness aspect, because if I go to a trailer or I go to a mansion, it's equally as important to those people.
Because that's their home.
It's their home.
100%.
And so you have to sort of work on ways to make them trust you in about 3 minutes, because that's about how long I have before I really get started with it. And
how do you do that?
I think just you have to be able to read the crowd really quickly. So I can tell if most people these days are pretty excited for me to come because they want, it's gotten so popular. But in years past, there's been a lot of apprehension that I'm going to come in and say, knock this wall out and redo your kitchen. But that's not how I work. The way I like to work and try to work for all these 20-something years is I really don't want them to spend money. Mm-hmm. I want them to use what's in the house. I don't bring things in. I delete and add, give them suggestions, move everything around. I consult on paint colors and carpet colors, and if they want to do updates, prioritizing them, because they sometimes hate something about their house, but it'll still sell. It's this that needs updating, whatever it is. So I say, let's leave that and let's put our money here, right? Mm-hmm. So you see your house every day and you don't see it anymore the way a new person would see it. And
like a buyer.
Like a buyer.
Right.
And so I try to go in like a buyer and say, okay, I know what to do here. So you have to, the kindness piece of it is reading the crowd. Start with positives, because every place has a positive, whether it be the yard or a sofa.
Right.
We start with that. And then
you just did a sofa in one of my houses that I'm going to be listing. Do you remember that one? About a week ago, they had like a rounded sofa, and I think you just moved it in the living room to a space that made it look better. Yeah. And most of the people that you work with, they always say to me, oh my gosh, I wish I would have done that a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, they set their house up to live.
Right.
They don't set it up to sell. So I can go in and say, let's do this. And I always say, I really never do anything nice for the homeowner. It's always for the buyer. So if you're a little uncomfortable for a minute, it's going to be worth it. Like if they have 2 recliners sitting in front of the TV, which is half the houses I go to. I'm like, could you sit on the sofa for like 2 weeks?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that, just understanding that it's their home and that they still want to be comfortable in it. But I also want them to sell it quickly for the most money, so I can usually sort of finesse the changes. Mm-hmm.
What's the number one update or change in your 20 years that you've made? Is it painting? Is it just rearranging the furniture? What do you think it would be?
That's a good question because it's changed through the years. I think it was finishes for a long time. Like if you have Formica and it's above a certain price range, that you're going to get a hit because people want certain kind of countertops. So if they don't want to change anything, then I sort of talk for the realtor and say, we can absolutely sell this house, but you have to be mindful that you're going to be up against all of these new finishes. So when your realtor wants to price it, they're taking that into consideration. I never talk price because I have no idea.
Right.
But I talk about that if they want to sell it quickly in a market that they're competing with, for instance, quartz or granite, and they have Formica, that's a consideration. So, it's important because they'll say, well, if I do that and I put $5,000 in, will I get it back?
That's the number one question.
That's the
you
number
get
one
as
question.
well,
It
right.
is. It's hard to say for sure you're going to get your money back.
Yeah.
But there are
I never
certain
do that.
things that are almost a guarantee, right?
Yeah, I would say clean is number one.
Clean
That's-
works, smells.
right. That's
Clean
just
clean is number one. Smells
Smells
number
huge,
two.
right?
Yeah, because we'll lose them at the door.
Yep.
It doesn't smell good. But what I usually say to the question of money is I say, really putting the granite in gets you to market value. It doesn't raise it. So if you don't do it, you're under market value.
So that's the threshold.
So that's the threshold. The threshold that you're going to be judged against is doing it. That will get you up in that range. So it's a lot of discussion like that, but I always want them to feel like I can make it better anyway, even if they're not going to do updates, because lots of them are as is.
Oh, especially in this market we've
Yes.
been in. I mean,
Yep.
most people I walk in, even today, they'll say, I'm as is, I'm not doing anything.
Right.
But I'll still say, we still need to stage your house.
Right.
And move things around or declutter.
Right.
Talk about your decluttering because you're so good at that.
Well, the thing that you have to keep in mind, because some of the stuff I declutter is beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful stuff, but the key is that we want them to see what they're buying. I don't want them distracted with your beautiful things because they leave without realizing it's got a huge granite sink or a really cool gas oven or whatever the feature is.
Yeah.
They miss it. And if we can simplify, that's the word. It's because sometimes the clutter is lovely, but it just muddies up the photos. And these days, photos are sort of everything. Nobody goes unless they shop it online.
True.
So the process is you go in and do your work before the photographer
Yes.
comes in.
Right.
The pictures have to be taken, as Amy mentioned, that's everything, or pictures. So the pictures go on the MLS or wherever, and that's what gets the attraction from the potential buyers.
They won't even come in your house unless they see the pictures. And if the pictures look bad,
Right.
so Mark, if you take bad pictures of my houses,
That's right.
then forget it.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
out of
But you
business.
don't.
One thing I was asking, I've heard it from Michelle before, that you do such a good job sometimes that your clients go, I'm not going to sell now.
Yeah.
I kind of like my
Yeah,
place.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
That has actually happened a few times, and I say, please sell it because I need to keep working. And so I'm like, no, you need to go. You don't have closet space, so
Yeah.
get on out of
Yeah.
here.
Just remember what you don't like about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm sure you have disaster stories without naming names. I mean, you go into a place and you go, I don't know where to begin with
Well,
this.
that's the truth. Without being too philosophical, when I go in houses like that, I've learned that the state of the home is the state of the life. So then I immediately know who I'm dealing with. Somebody that's overwhelmed and exhausted and maybe sad. There's a lot of sad moves, as you know, deaths, divorces, foreclosures, divorces. So you kind of have to be ready for that emotion. I never want anyone to feel embarrassed because we're all doing the best we can.
100%.
And I think that what I try to do in those situations is physically help them do one room because that's all I have time for. And that can sometimes jumpstart them. It's like, okay, that I get, and you just have to be kind and just say, oh, I know, I understand, because I do raise 4 kids. We have a bunch of grandkids, and
Yep.
they're messy. And then if you have anything going awry in your life, the last thing you care about is if all your light bulbs work and if your carpet's clean. You know, you just are trying to live. So I want to help those people even more.
Yeah.
Because selling a home could be considered a life-changing event.
It's emotional.
It's very
very
difficult.
emotional.
Right.
And sometimes it's very sad.
Right. Yeah.
They're not happy about going.
So I know listening to Michelle, that she's a part psychologist in what she does. And,
absolutely.
and I'm sure that's, you know, the same
Most
thing.
of the time when people are selling their homes, it's very rare that it's a super happy occasion.
Very rare.
Yeah. So I love working with first-time home buyers.
Yeah, because
They're so excited.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
There's no damage.
there's no damage
Yeah.
yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Or the move up couple.
Yep.
Right. But it's just rare. It doesn't happen every day.
Right.
And so when you talk about death, divorce, foreclosure, 100%.
Right.
And we have to sell that house and we have to get the most money out of it and we got to do it right now.
That's right. So you have to encourage them to implement what you say and say, I know it's a lot of work and I know you don't want to do it, but I promise you your house will sell faster and for more. And that's all I want for you. So I'm on their side. That's the most important thing. I think good realtors make them feel that way. I'm in it with you till it sells. And that's what I always say. I'm in it till it sells. Call me if you get weird feedback or if you hear the same thing over and over. I'll come back. We'll fix it. But I think we're good because you know what I mean? Because I think I can get it pretty much on the first time after all this time. Not that I'm that amazing, but it's just time after time.
Right.
Give us like an idea of cleaning, like simple, like let's say closets.
Yeah. You know, the thing I try to emphasize with closets is most of the time they're not photographed, right?
Right.
So if we're in a hurry to get it on the market, I'm like, do everything they're going to shoot, then work on your closets. If they have really good closets, big, huge closets, it's not as important as if they don't. So one big thing for me with closets is the floor. You can use all your storage, but I need the floor because that does something nice to the eye when they can see all the way back to the back of it. Of course, decluttering always helps the closet, but you also don't want it to look like it won't hold anything. So it's a
That's a balance.
balancing act about you know, if you have a really teeny closet and you hang 2 shirts in it, no one's fooled. Right?
Yeah, that's true. I never thought about that.
So you have to use your space and make it look like it works. And that's the same thing with bathroom and kitchen addendum storage where people will have cabinets and shelves with all their pantry on it. I'm like, this is a neon sign that your kitchen doesn't work. We have to take it out, you know, because it might work for someone else because maybe you buy at Costco, who knows? But, you know, just making the space look like it works is what we try to do, and that includes closets.
So the takeaway from this is a lot of decluttering
Yep.
and just kind of rearranging
Yep.
what you already have there.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be expensive at all.
It does not. And the thing that I try to do with rearranging is I usually walk the property before I say one word, except hello and stuff. But I want to find the feature that is going to sell it and direct them to it with the furniture. So I want them to walk this way because if they go that way, then they see the kitchen in the backyard. So I spend a lot of time thinking, how do I want them to move around the space? And what if I'm a great big guy? Because they won't turn to get through anything, you know? So sometimes we have to take furniture out. Sometimes we just readjust it. But they are usually set up for TV watching in the living room. So the sofa is so far, you know, whatever it is, because they're just trying to live. I'm like, I know this isn't going to be great, but we need to move this guy up. And they usually are pretty compliant and ready to do it. And I say, even if it's just for pictures, then, and for instance, the kitchen, if you have them take everything out, you know they're going to have to bring some stuff back to live. But I always say, just bring back what you use every single day. Nothing cute, nothing pretty, just the stuff you need.
Make it
every
look
day.
good for pictures and just put it back as needed.
Yeah.
What about the front door?
Front doors are big, and it's an easy fix with paint if they're not, or restaining if they're not pretty or they're beat up. I also like, I've always liked a good wreath. And it sounds like a little thing, but the minute you drive up, you're welcomed. You feel
like a Hallmark
that's
movie.
right. And and someone happy lives.
I'm
Right,
thinking about
right.
my wreath. Now I have a little wreath up. It has a little Easter bunny. But I was
Little Easter bunny.
But I was looking at it yesterday, and you can't see it.
It's a
from the
little
street.
small.
It's a little
It's
small.
a little small.
See, she was already judging us.
I already, yeah.
No,
I
she
was.
knows me. She knows me.
Yeah, that could hang on the inside
Inside.
door.
It was. It
of
was
your
on the
kitchen.
inside. It was on the inside, and I moved it last weekend.
And
'cause kids
and
were
also
coming home.
things on the wall that might offend,
Yeah.
some people.
That's a
true.
really tricky one,
Right.
especially with religion.
Right.
And I personally, just for me personally, I'm making no statement. I never take Jesus down because this is a Jesus area.
Good.
But it can be off-putting to have other religions because they're so intense and massive the way that they have the room set up. I don't want to dishonor them in any way, and I know it's very important to them. So I just say, could we move it for the photos? And they'll usually go for that. Or can we minimize it a little? And they'll usually go for that. But, people always say, take all your personal stuff down because they don't really know what else to say. And I like a little life in the house. Not a ton, but I like a little happy here and there and a little bit of we enjoy our place. I think it's nice to see. Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I think that's pretty simple, even though it's very important. What were you leaning to?
I'm like thinking, should she go downstairs and do our house right now?
Yeah.
Well,
I got a few minutes.
Yeah, no. But I got
maybe
Your house
take
is
that
lovely.
big 8 by 10 foot Trump picture down.
Oh, no. He stays.
He's fine.
No, it's not there.
Saying.
It's not there. But, it's really been a really fun adventure doing this, meeting so many people and getting to have relationships with some really great realtors. And I've made a lot of really great friends. And there's become a trust between us that they just know that I'll take good care of them. And so they don't feel like they have to come, although I always welcome anybody that wants to come. But a lot of people don't come. They're busy and they just know.
But you do have your own business.
I do.
Yes, so people can call you.
Yes.
And you can stage at any time.
Right.
Come over and refresh the house, even if you're not going to be selling the house. If you want a refresher and you want Amy to come and talk to you, we're going to give you that information after this podcast. And it just makes you feel great about your house.
A lot of people that I stage and they sell hire me to do their new houses. But the company pays for me to stage, so there's really no reason for, if you're using, an agent from our company, to not have me come because you don't have to pay for it. But even if your house is perfect.
It's part of a perk that Coldwell Banker pays for.
It's a really cool program. And then people hire me and they're like, oh, I have my new house. I have no idea how to do it. And so they'll hire me to go consult over there. And that's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's
'cause
cool.
I like to see where they're going. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it's cool.
We've learned a lot.
Yeah,
You better get busy.
I am.
Yeah, you better get going.
No, that's
girl.
no joke. I go to these houses after she's fixed them up, and I think, damn, I got to go home and fix my house.
Oh, no.
I do.
Yeah.
If we're
No,
going to sell, are we going to sell it?
Mark always wants me to sell my house. We're going to downsize
We've been talking about it for
for
a little
years.
while.
For years.
A lot of
A
while.
little while.
So every time I think about downsizing, you know what I do?
What?
I go out and sell a house.
Yeah.
Right.
So you don't have to.
Yeah.
It really motivates me.
All right. Thank you, Amy. Yeah,
My pleasure.
good.
Thanks
It's
for
great.
having